Hello, everyone, and welcome to our deeper dive series called the Feasibility Lab. Today, we will be taking a deeper dive into return on investment and opportunity factor. Big picture, return on investment is all about assessing the opportunity of an investment by measuring risk versus reward. The concept is simple. The investment should produce an acceptable level of risk and an acceptable rate of return. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. We will also talk about break-even, which is all about survivability. I'm Debbie, an SBDC advisor at the Colorado Small Business Development Center. I'm also a former business owner myself, former CFO in the Silicon Valley, and a CPA with a master's in finance. And I'm here today to help you understand return on investment and break even. We will start with break even, a survivability assessment, the point where revenue or sales dollars for products and services equals the total cost of generating those sales dollars. On an NOI basis, these costs include operating expenses and financing costs. For purposes of assessing feasibility, costs also include owner living requirements in the form of a personal budget. It's the level of production required to cover all expenses. Why figure out break even? To make sure your business survives over the long haul. It's a risk assessment every business owner should make and understand, an important part of the risk and reward analysis. Let's look at a break-even analysis now on a net operating income basis. The calculation itself is fairly simple. It begins with sales of products and services. Then you subtract costs, the total costs of everything you need to spend, operating expenses and financing costs. And this is equal to your personal budget, or break even, what you need to survive. The feasibility model does most of this work for you on the base case tab in the model. As you can see, in the analysis for Robust Coffee, production is presented in number of units up at the top. Based upon the number of days per year, the business will be open. In this case, 364. The hours per day, in this case, 10, and the NOI generated by the business, in this case, 31,123. Notice, the personal budget is also equal to 31,123, resulting in break even, a number equal to 0. The model calculates the number of units per year, 30,845, and per day, 85. How many units per day must be sold to break even? In this case, Robust Coffee must sell 85 units, 364 days per year, 10 hours per day, with only the owner and one part-time helper doing the work. Is this feasible? Is the risk worth the reward the owner will get? Should the owner run the numbers a different way, or maybe just walk away? Well, you really can't answer these questions until you measure the end results, the reward you get for all your hard work. Let's take a look now at how this works. Big picture. Return on investment measures investment performance based upon the concept of risk and reward. The goal is to quantify the potential success of your business by assessing your appetite for risk relative to the potential reward. While there are many ways to measure reward, we will look at two simple metrics used in the robust coffee analysis. First, let's talk about a simple rate of return. The rate of return on an annual basis, or NOI yield percent, is equal to NOI divided by the cost of the investment of $380,000. In our low case, 4%. In our base case, 8.2%. And the high case is 11.4%. These rates should be benchmarked against the CD average rate of 5.5% for alternative investments. Now, let's look at the potential future value of robust coffee in 5 years. While value computations can certainly be complex, we are going to keep it simple today. In the base case of break-even, we will assume that the most likely value is something close to its cost of $380,000, since the NOI generated merely covers personal living expenses. It's the break-even case. In the low case, a downside of 25%, we will assume the value might be something close to 75% of its cost, or $285,000. Maybe less, since there are no profits on this case. In the high case, an upside of 25%, we will assume the robust value must be equal to 125% of cost, or $475,000. Again, just a simple guess. In fact, this is probably aggressive because profits are not significant and there is no assurance these profits will be stable over a 5-year period. Okay, let's consider an alternative CD investment for $380,000, bread savings. In 5 years, with interest compounding at a rate of 5.2%, this CD will be worth $492,000. And CDs have FDIC protection up to $250,000 at any given bank. And now, let's do some simple benchmarking. In all 3 cases, the CD has a higher value. In the low case, $208,000. The base case, $113,000, and the high case, $18,000 more. So, what do you think? Is the risk worth the reward? And now, for the homework assignment focused on assessing the risk you are taking versus reward. First, prepare a budget for your living expenses. This is on the Input tab for Workshop 4 in the Feasibility Model. You get to choose what kind of budget you want. A minimal budget, maybe you're single and live in a trailer, or a conservative budget. You have a family and want to save for retirement. Second, prepare a break-even calculation. This can be done on the Input tab also in the model. Enter the hours per day, weeks per year, days per week you plan to work per year. Then, find the revenue level required to make the NOI number equal to your budget. Once you find this point, answer the questions. Is the vision I have for my business feasible? Is the risk I am taking worth the reward? Make sure you quantify your answers. Where do you break even? And what is your ROI. And that's how you do a return on investment analysis. It's all about measuring performance, assessing the risk versus reward of your business investment. How do you do this? Consider all quantitative and qualitative factors. First, complete a break-even analysis to assess the risk of survival. After all, if you can't break even, cover your personal living expenses, and make some decent money, then why do the business at all? Next, consider the rate of return. How does your annual net operating percent yield compare to alternative investments, and are the risk factors equal? And finally, think about the future value. Are you satisfied with the outlook of your investment? Do you expect the value of your business to increase over time? Will it surpass alternative opportunities? And are you willing to take the risk involved to make your business venture successful? Bottom line, make sure you make some decent money and exit the business with a bit of a nest egg. Don't settle for less unless you just want to work for yourself and you don't really mind losing some money. And now, folks, it's time to finish your work in this model and see if your business makes sense. Take a deep dive into these 3 assessment factors we've been talking about and make a go or no-go decision. I look forward to hearing what you decide and why in our final workshop together. And as always, let me know if you have any questions.